Hey everyone! For this week's video, I want to talk about high school. Now this may be a subject that a lot of people don't want to think about or focus on at all, but it's something that I've been thinking of lately because it's been just about a year exactly since I graduated high school, which is so crazy, and I've just been thinking about that a lot recently. And I thought it could be cool to do a video where I kind of tell you guys a little bit about my high school experience and try to give you some tips that hopefully will help you power through high school, because I know that they can be some of the most challenging and also some of the most rewarding years of our lives. So I'm just gonna dive right into sort of my experience in high school. I did not have the easiest time in high school at all. My freshman and sophomore years were pretty terrible. When I look back and think about those years, they're kind of like the dark years just because they were really difficult. Going into my freshman year of high school, I was coming from a really small charter school middle school where everybody knew each other, and here I was going from that, which had probably about 50 kids in my entire grade, to a huge high school where I barely knew anybody and nobody knew me. So I was starting completely fresh, which was scary. And on top of that, I am also not the most outgoing person. I definitely wouldn't call myself shy, but when I'm in a crowd of people, I'm usually more quiet and reserved. And it can be a challenge for me to approach people and start a conversation, and making new friends sometimes isn't the easiest thing for me. So starting at this big high school with all of these kids was kind of overwhelming for me. My whole freshman year and my whole sophomore year, I did not have any friends at school. I think there were some points where I would get to know somebody in one of my classes, and every once in a while we'd go to lunch or hang out, but I never really had a close friend or a close group of friends, which made it really difficult for me. You know, during lunch was the hour I dreaded most at school, which sounds kind of funny because I know usually that's everybody's favorite part of the day, but for me it was the hardest part of the day because I didn't have any friends, I didn't have anywhere to go. So during lunch I would just kind of sit by myself, or sometimes I would just walk around the school outside because I didn't want to be seen alone. I already felt like a loner, and I didn't want people to see me as that. It was really hard for me. Looking back, I definitely have some regrets. I do wish that I would have tried to put myself out there more, and now I'm a lot more confident than I was then. I think a big part of why I was so quiet and why it was so hard for me to put myself out there my first 2 years of high school was because of my insecurities, and because I compared myself to other people, and I wasn't happy with who I was. I didn't love me for me, and I did have really low self-esteem. Looking back, I really do think that a lot of my issues branched out from my insecurities and my lack of confidence. During this time in my life, I didn't really see a way out. I didn't see how things could get better. I thought that was gonna be it all through high school. I just kind of felt stuck, and I felt like my problems were never gonna end, and it was always gonna be this way. I was always gonna be the loner. I was never gonna make any friends. And fortunately that was not the case, and high school did turn around for me after my sophomore year. My junior year of high school, I was barely at high school because I was doing The Voice, and that was about an 8 or 9 month process. So that was pretty much the entire school year. My senior year was by far the best year of high school. I actually made friends. I put myself out there for once, and I had so much more confidence in myself and in who I was. And honestly, I credit that a lot to The Voice. And I know that all of us are gonna have different experiences. All of us are gonna learn our lessons in different ways. And for me, The Voice taught me a lot of important lessons. Not just lessons for that period of time, but life lessons. Things that I'm never gonna forget, and things that have changed me completely. I came out of that experience going into my senior year kind of a whole other person. I was finally able to just step out of my comfort zone and talk to people and make friends and get involved and go to the dances and just really have a good senior year of high school. You know, when I look back on my senior year, I actually, you know, it sounds kind of funny, but I actually kind of miss it. It really was such a good year, and there's so many fun memories. There's just a lot of things that year that I figured out that I wish I would have figured out earlier, but we all gotta learn. We all gotta learn. So I have some tips for you guys that I have learned through my experiences, and I've kind of compiled a small list here of tips that I wish that I would have known when I was going into high school. The first tip I have for you guys is don't try to be somebody else just to fit in. I really wish I would have known this during my freshman and sophomore years of high school. I was not happy with who I was. I would compare myself to all the other girls at my school and, you know, just look at them and think, you know, they're so perfect and they're so beautiful and funny and outgoing, and why can't I be more like that? I just didn't think I was good enough. And, you know, I would try to act cool and be something that I wasn't, to try and fit the mold. You know, coming out of high school, I've just realized that none of that really matters. The second you graduate high school, you and all your friends, everybody that you've known, you're all gonna go down separate paths. People are gonna go off to college. People are gonna move away and pursue their dreams and their careers. Looking back, you know, I just realized that none of the drama, you know, none of the things that seem to matter so much during high school really do matter. The second tip is work hard and study. I don't want to sit here and boss you guys around and try to tell you to do your homework or, you know, study hard for, you know, your tests so that you can get a good grade. That's not what I'm saying. I do wish that I would have taken high school a little more seriously, looking back. And, you know, the times when I did take it seriously, the times when I did study, the times when, you know, I prioritized and I put school first, you know, I came out a lot more successful. And I just wish I would have done that more, because high school, it goes by fast and it's a really small part of our life, but it's a really big part of our life at the same time, and it kind of determines your future. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is just try to take high school a little more seriously. The final tip that I have for you guys is to be involved, to join the clubs, to, you know, be a part of your school choir or whatever it might be, whatever your interests are. You'll have a lot more fun, and it's a way easier way of making friends, and I don't know, it just kind of makes you enjoy high school a lot more. And I know that people probably say that exact thing a lot, but it really is helpful in a lot of ways. And it's always a good feeling to feel like you're a part of something and to feel like you're contributing to something. So those are just a few of the tips that I have for you guys. I could probably go on and on. High school has taught me a lot, and high school was definitely full of a lot of ups and downs. And I grew a lot and I learned a lot through my high school experience. I just want you guys to know that you don't need to try to be like anybody else. You don't need to fit into a certain group. You don't need to try and be something that you're not, because what's the point? You know, it's all going to end. You know, none of that's gonna matter the second you graduate and move on with your lives. You know, high school, it is what you make it to be. I just want you guys to be able to hopefully learn from my experiences, and, you know, for those of you who are still in high school, I just want to let you know that you got this, and that all those little things that seem to matter so much during high school really don't. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and hopefully learned something from my experiences and the tips that I've given you guys. Stay tuned for the next Madeline Page Monday. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, make sure you do. And also please like and share this video with your friends. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye!